A mother finds her 3-year-old son paralyzed. She looks at him and is scared. Doctors told a 3-year-old boy he was exaggerating his symptoms and discharged him from hospital, only for him to be paralyzed by a rare disease moments later. His shattered mother is now urging hospitals to do better and run tests for rare conditions when symptoms arise, instead of just brushing them off as too unlikely. Melbourne boy Mason, 3, had been diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS, a rapidly progressing disease caused by inflammation of the nerves that affects just 1 or 2 in every 100,000 people every year. The condition causes muscle weakness, which can lead to complete paralysis and, in some cases, death. GBS causes excruciating pain throughout the entire body. Recovery takes at least 6 to 3 months, with some patients reporting long-term problems. Mason's mom, Jessica Bai, told Daily Mail Australia she desperately urged doctors to check Mason for GBS, but was told her son was exaggerating his symptoms. Imagine being paralyzed but feeling every single ounce of pain throughout your body, and then being told that you're exaggerating, Miss Bai said. The young mother of 3 and stepmom to another 3 children said she noticed something was not right with her happy-go-lucky Mason when he complained about pain in his body on Monday, July 24th. However, she initially thought her son was experiencing growing pains or muscle aches from a 3-kilometer run. Mason was given Panadol and had a couple of Epsom salt baths, but after 2 days the young boy could not chew his food because of the intense pain in his jaw. Miss Bai said Mason's pain became so excruciating that her really tough kid, who never complained, was in absolute hysterics and sobbing while he slept. A doctor assessed Mason at their home in Melton, 47 kilometers west of Melbourne's CBD, on Friday, July 28th, and suggested he could be dehydrated. They told Miss Bai to take him to the hospital if he did not improve. The next day, Mason's symptoms worsened, and he was barely able to stand up or walk. His mom rushed him to the urgent care department in Melton and was told his symptoms pointed to growing pains and that a blood test would be done to test for anything serious. I did say to them that my son had growing pains before this and a lot more excessive than that, Miss Bai said. He's a really tough kid, and he's one of those kids that won't even take Panadol if he's got pain. He'd prefer to deal with it and it go away and not complain. They said, we'll do a blood test and see what the blood test shows, and then we'll go from there. So they sent us home. Mason collapsed the next day, so his mom rushed him to Bacchus Marsh Hospital, after which he was transferred to Sunshine Hospital in St. Albans. Miss Bai said she was left with a bad taste in her mouth after the receptionist at Sunshine Hospital told her to sit in the waiting room until her son was given a bed. The lady at the desk said, yeah, he's arrived by ambulance, but we'll take you to him when he's going to a bed. You have to just sit in the waiting room, Miss Bai claimed. I thought that seemed a bit weird. He's a 3-year-old child who's already scared and, stressed about even going in an ambulance. He can barely even walk, and you're not letting his mom go in? I called Mason's phone and spoke to the paramedics, and they sent one of the nurses to get me. Miss Bai said the pair waited 45 minutes before Mason was given a bed, and he was not even given IV fluids until 11 p.m. that night. Despite informing the doctor her son had not eaten or had anything to drink for a few days. The doctor told Miss Bai her son's blood work and urine tests were normal, and that his pain may be caused by viral myotosis, an infection caused after the flu. Miss Bai questioned the doctor, claiming her son had not been sick, and urged them to run an MRI scan to test for GBS. I said, what if it's Guillain-Barré syndrome or something? Shouldn't you do an MRI scan just to rule it out? Miss Bai said. The doctor said no, because my son would be in much more pain if it was that. That's really hard for the doctor to say. There's a kid screaming in pain. The doctor had not given him any pain relief, and they didn't even attempt to understand what level of pain he was in. Miss Bai explained her son was experiencing excruciating pain and had to move his legs off the bed, pull him up, and help him shuffle to the toilet like a 100-year-old man with a hip replacement. Doctors believed Mason was exaggerating his symptoms so he could skip school or spend time with his mom. Miss Bai said Mason would not be exaggerating his symptoms because he had just started dating his primary school crush, and was annoyed the hospital stay was causing him to miss school and time with his girlfriend. She advised to return to the hospital on Wednesday, August 2nd, if his symptoms worsened. I repeatedly said that I completely understand there are some people who go over the top with exaggeration in the medical field, Miss Bai said, but I told them that I know my child. I know this is not normal, and I told them in the nicest way possible that I don't think what you are saying is right. I felt like it was a cop-out, and they didn't have the time to do what they needed to do, so they thought they could just take the next best way. As the pair were discharged, with Miss Bai pushing her son in a wheelchair, the mom noticed her son's face had drooped and informed the nurse. Miss Bai believed the nurse was informing the doctor of the new symptom, but on her return confirmed her son was still being discharged. Miss Bai said she was 5 kilometers down the road from the hospital when Mason started to slur his speech. Her heart dropped when she turned to check on him and saw the entire left side of his body was paralyzed. I didn't know if my son was going to be alive the next day, Miss Bai said. I didn't know if it was a brain tumor or he had suffered a major stroke and needed emergency surgery. My heart dropped. It was just extremely gut-wrenching.